Shalom, call halal Yahweh Bashem Awashai Bashem Rakakadash, double honors into the apostles and the elders. Salutations to all my fellow laborers doing this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom to do so now more so than ever. To the scattered elect that are scattered around the four corners of the earth, that be like unto the speckled bird, the Israelite foreigners, and to the Akwath that are listening and learning, to you, I say Shalom. This is your brother Malcolm from the branch of the Great Millstone, coming at you with another lesson in truth. And once again, using Kim Iverson's show and platform to bring the spiritual point into the information that she continually bring out. I've been actually watching Kim Iverson for quite a few years, and I've also been correcting her and adjusting her on a spiritual level, on a biblical level, on a lot of matters too. But nevertheless, she brings out a lot of important information and pertinent information that the mainstream media seems to overlook or downplay. And what she's about to play is a clip from the lieutenant colonel who basically demand accountability from his senior officers over him and the backlash that he caught, and now the breaking down of the system, the division is happening within the Marine Corps and the rest of the military with veterans. This division is coming across the board. You got the veterans with the people that are currently in the military, with the police forces, the fire departments. The whole thing is coming down. It's coming down. This is Mark 3 and 24. And if a kingdom be divided against itself, that kingdom cannot stand. And if a house be divided against itself, that house cannot stand. And if Satan rise up against Satan and be divided, he cannot stand but have an end. All right. So we're witnessing the end of an era, the end of an age, the end of the time and rulership of Esau, Edom. And that spirit of them telling themselves in the form of, as I heard the apostle say, in the form of whistleblowers. All right, that's what they're calling it. But that spirit and that spirit of rebellion is moving quickly, very quickly. I'm trying to find that. That's in Psalms, yeah. Psalms 64 and 8, or is it 60? Yeah, I think it's 64 and 8. Correct. So they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. All that see them shall flee away. And see, the problem with this whole situation in Afghanistan, as the lieutenant colonel is going to talk about, is the fact that it makes America look so bad, and it's making the current allies and other allies of America realize that they're just expendable, and their lives and the lives of their families don't matter at all. And a lot of these Marines are taking it hard with what happened, is he's going to explain, for the simple fact, when you work alongside people for 2 or 3 years or a couple of tours, you kind of get to grow to like certain people and certain civilians and other servicemen and things like that nature. You develop friendships, and so basically these soldiers were ordered to leave these people who had no way of defending themselves, that a lot of them they had befriended or even started relationships in some cases, to just leave them behind. And many of these people were killed, harmed, kidnapped, murdered, raped, or whatever. And it pissed a lot of people off. I also understand, having been a Marine and understanding, and having been a combat Marine, being in infantry, special security forces, I also understand within the Marine Corps the love, admiration, and respect that grunt Marines, infantry Marines, which is the backbone of the Marine Corps, which is pretty much the backbone of all the armed services, just to be honest with you, their love and their respect for combat officers over pencil pushers. We call them office pogues. Over guys who sit and barely can pass the PT and all the stuff that they require, and sit up and make decisions while other men just go off and get killed. When you out there in the mud, the cold, the heat, the hot, or whatever, busting your ass, and these cowards that sit back and make all these decisions, which other people's lives depend upon. So Marines and soldiers in general, so imagine it's the same thing with the fighting forces of the armies and the other, they have a higher regard for infantry officers, and this is an infantry officer, boots on the ground in the mud officer. So you best believe, just like with the other videos that I've done in the same subject matter, just within a couple days. What's his name? Roy Patega, I believe, former high-ranking U.S. officer. The sentiment is the same among Roy and a lot of veterans and a lot of people in the military. So this division is very, very, this is a scary thing. All right. It's beautiful to us, to the men of the Lord, because we've been waiting for these things to happen. And guess what? They're happening. So I'm about to play the clip that Kim put up. So lock in.
So in the current fallout of Afghanistan, a lot of Marines were posting on social media, and in response to that, the Commandant published a letter, which is the Service Chief of the Marine Corps. And I want to read from it. It was dated 18...
One thing, too, I have to add, and then I'll let him continue, is that, see, you can't do what you did to Marines or servicemen now what you did to them 30, 40, 50 years ago because of the internet, because of information. And now these Marines and these servicemen realize that they really haven't been fighting for their flag and safety in the country and that whole sort of thing. They actually have been fighting for large corporations who pretty much hijack their country. They come to that understanding. All right? And a lot of them are pissed off about it. So that being the difference between like now and let's say the Vietnam era. All right? You had no way of knowing what was going on in Vietnam, but now if this were Vietnam or Afghanistan, the images and the internet chatter is going back and forth, so the information is found out almost immediately. All right? Keep that in mind.
In August, so only a week ago, the Commandant, sir, you wrote, some of you may be struggling with the simple question, was it all worth it? We want you to know that your service is meaningful, powerful, and important. You fought for the Marine to your left and the Marine to your right. You never let them down. Then you go on to say that, if we're struggling, we should seek counseling, which, I get it. People have killed
he's
people.
A major, Salaki. I'm looking at his rank now.
I kill people and I seek counseling, and that's fine. There's a time and place for that. But the reason people are so upset on social media right now is not because the Marine on the battlefield let someone down. That service member has always rose to the occasion and done extraordinary things. People are upset because their senior leaders let them down, and none of them are raising their hands and accepting accountability or saying, we messed this up. If an 05 battalion commander has the simplest live fire incident EO complaint, boom, fired.
Wow.
But we have a Secretary of Defense that testified to Congress in May that the Afghan National Security Force could withstand the Taliban advance. We have chairmen of Joint Chief, who the Commandant is a member of that, who's supposed to advise on military policy. We have a Marine combatant commander. All of these people are supposed to advise, and I'm not saying we've got to be in Afghanistan forever, but I am saying, did any of you throw your rank on the table and say, hey, it's a bad idea to evacuate Bagram Airfield, the strategic air base, before we evacuate everyone? Did anyone do that? And when you didn't think to do that, did anyone raise their hand and say, we completely messed this up? I've got battalion commander friends right now that are posting similar things, and they're saying, wondering if all the lives were lost and if it was in vain, all those people that we've lost over the last 20 years.
Wow.
And he goes on to say that we're all part of a chain. While every link may not be tested, the strength of the chain is only as strong as each link, and you got to be, good link, something like that. And what I'll say is, from my position, potentially all those people did die in vain if we don't have senior leaders that own up and raise their hand and say, we did not do this well in the end. Without that, we just keep repeating the same mistakes. This amalgamation of the economic / corporate / political / higher military ranks are not holding up their end of the bargain.
Damn commercial. Are you kidding me? Wow. assets.
I want to say this very strongly. I have been fighting for 17 years. I am willing to throw it all away to say to my senior leaders, I demand accountability.
Now, after the video went...
Now, it went viral, and, and what he doesn't realize, I'm going to just read the scripture, explain it, all right? Because he's saying those people died in vain. No, those people died because of greed, all right? This is Micah 2 and 1, and it says, woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hand. And they covet fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away. So they oppress a man and his house, even a man and his heritage. The people in Afghanistan have been, their homes and their houses and their lands have been coveted and oppressed for its resources by major companies here in America, and the U.S. Marines and the Army and the rest of the military have been the whooping stick, the sword, the weapon used to do it. All right, let's go. And then they try to say they're asking him for psychological evaluations and things of that nation. This man is not crazy. This man is completely sane and being logical, and the Lord is actually using him to be that Psalm 64:8 to shine light upon the wickedness of Esau Edom. All right, his spirit was on him to do this. He don't even know why he did it. All right, well, let's see this. So now he's straight in civilian clothes. All right, and this is his rebellion video. The first one was him trying to go use the platform and still in a respectful way. Because I was told in the Marine Corps, if you had something to say, we could speak to another Marine, but you would say, sir, with all due respect, and then you would say what you had to say, when it was time to speak. Now you can't even do that, so it seems. All right?
For 17 years, I'm currently not pending legal action, and I could stay in the Marine Corps for another 3 years, but I don't think that's the path I'm on. I'm resigning my commission as a United States Marine effective now. I'm sure there's some MAR admin on how I'm supposed to do that, and I'll work through that. But I am forfeiting my retirement, all entitlements. I don't want a single dollar. I don't want any money from the VA. I don't want any VA benefits. I'm sure I'm entitled to 100%. I, breathed on the smell and smoke of burning shit for years. I don't want any of it. All I asked for was accountability of my senior leaders when there are clear, obvious mistakes that were made. I'm not saying we can take back what has been done. All I asked for was accountability for people to comment on what I...
And you see it says rising. Fire rises. And there is, and look, and you just put up in front of that. You have uprising. Look, there was a movie that came out with Sean Connery and Nicolas Cage called The Rock. And what was it? It was a bunch of disgruntled Marines led by a major who were all came to the conclusion that they had been misused and mistreated, and too many of their fellow Marines had fallen and didn't get taken care of properly, or their families, and they had been left out of the circle with the income and the monies and the things that they gained for this country, and really didn't get a compensation for it. And this rogue Marine force, led by this major, they sent in a bunch of Navy SEALs, to try to take them out, and the Marines took the SEAL team out, man. All right. It's that, like I said, that division. It makes, how they do predictive programming in these movies. It just makes me wonder too, is this staged or is this real? All right. I don't think it's staged because of if it is, he's a damn good actor, because the emotion that he's given, the anger and the hurt that he's given, that shit is real, man. So, and if you take this and you look at the other videos that went up along the same subject matter, also with soldiers and former soldiers who feel the same way, shit's about to happen, man.
I said, and to say, yes, mistakes were made. And had they done that, I would have gone back into rank and file, submitted, and accomplished what I wanted. The morning after I posted my video and I came into work, my boss came in and he asked me, what were you trying to accomplish? And that was a very tough question for me. And my response was, I want senior leaders to accept accountability. I think them accepting accountability would do more for service members in PTSD and struggling with purpose than any other transparent piece of paper or message. And I haven't received that. For the over $2 million that I would potentially receive in retirement for the rest of my life, for the however much extra the disability would be, I think that money should go back to all the senior general officers because I think they need it more than I do. Because when I am done with what I'm about to do, you all are going to need the jobs and the security.
Wow.
So what is he about to do? Well, he alludes to wanting to burn the system down. Now, this set off alarm bells. The next day when Stewart went into work, he was ordered by his commanding officer to undergo a mental health screening. In his Facebook post, Scheller stated, quote, excusing the actions of service members because of PTSD does more damage to service members than any trauma in combat. Accountability from senior leaders would alleviate feelings of guilt or shame in service members more than individual counseling. It would save thousands of lives, unquote. Now, yesterday, Stewart Scheller.
What is he about to do? Look, this is clearly. Look at the commandant, or not the commandant, but the commander in chief over the armed forces. This dude is falling asleep, you know, in meetings with the Israeli prime minister. So, you know, leadership is a reflection all the way down. These leaders, these high-ranking military leaders are in league with their crooked leaders over them, which are in league with these large corporations like Microsoft and shoot, people that run your country are basically the Federal Reserve and what's his name, Bill Gates and people like that. Those are the people really controlling policy in your country right about now. The process of law has been done away with. All right, rights and all that, and then they're using science and different things to supersede law. So in the name of safety, and that's just what it is. So these are very, very crucial. Matter of fact, let me read this. This is Jeremiah 49:7. Concerning Edom, thus saith Yahweh of hosts, is wisdom no more in Teman? Is counsel perished from the prudent? Is their wisdom vanished? Yes. They're all like dumb dogs now. And the problem is,